Welcome to Circle Radio with Andre. Hey there, I'm Andre, and you're listening to Circle Radio. I'm your host, Andre, and you're listening to Circle Radio. You're listening to Circle Radio with Andre. Welcome to Circle Radio, the station for all your West Side news. I'm your host, Andre. This is Circle Radio with Andre, the station dedicated to bringing you the latest and greatest West Side news. Never fear, Andre is here with all your West Side news on Circle Radio. Circle Radio with Andre is here to bring you all the news for and about the West Side. Welcome to Circle Radio, the home of all your West Side news. As always, I'm your host, Andre. Hey there, it's Andre, the host of Circle Radio, and I'm here to bring you all the news that's fit to talk about for the West Side. Hey, so I don't know if you've seen the big tree lately, but it's in pretty rough shape. It looks like it might be dying. Kind of sad to see something that old completely get destroyed by the elements when all it would take is a little care to nurse it back to health. I don't know how to cure a sick tree, but maybe someone listening to this program does, and they can figure out how to keep it alive. It'd be a shame if it died. So, the saddest thing to me is seeing the library nearly empty. I know we had to make do with what we have, but I really wish that we hadn't burned so many books to keep warm during the winter. When it was happening, it was the right thing to do, but now I wish we had those books to read. It's hard passing the time and not getting lost in your own thoughts, and I'm pretty sure there was probably a lot of knowledge in those books that could have helped us now. The biology and horticulture books definitely would have come in handy. I know we are all a little disappointed with the harvest. One of the farmers said that sometimes when you have your first harvest, it is really small, but by harvesting the fruits and vegetables or cutting back the greens, it stresses the plants and makes them more productive. Let's hope she's right. It's great that we finally have fresh fruits and vegetables that we grow ourselves, but I'm really worried there isn't enough to go around. We might need to scavenge some wild plants to supplement our crops. It's great, we have lettuce, but if we want to make a meal, we might need to add some dandelion greens to feed everyone. I know, we're all tired. We've been working really hard. We each have to take our turns tending to the gardens and securing the community. And I know it's easier for me to say that as this disembodied voice on the radio, but when I'm not here, I'm doing manual labor too. We have to keep going. We have to work harder. I know it sucks, but soon it will all pay off. When we get to eat those fruits and vegetables, when we get to relax and not worry about being constantly attacked by outcasts or true sons, it will be worth it. I know it's a lot of work, but we need to try and keep the wash basins clean. We're going through too much water. So if you're doing laundry, shake out your clothes before you put them in the water. Get as much dirt and debris off your clothes before you wash them. This will help cut down our water use and hopefully save you some time hand washing your clothes, because the dirt won't turn to mud caked into the fibers. Whoever let their kids play on the tarps is kind of an asshole. We use those tarps to collect rainwater. It's our clean water source. And the muddy footprints on the tarp were getting down into the plastic drinking jugs. We've cleaned it up so that our water isn't contaminated, but come on! We shouldn't have to do that. We use the dirty water on the crops because we can't afford to let it go to waste, but shit like this shouldn't be happening. If you haven't met our new mascot, don't be afraid if you run into a goat. She's a little bit of a weirdo, might try to headbutt you in the butt because, well, that's what goats do, but if you get to know her, she's really sweet and goofy because she's a goat. And maybe when she gets bigger, we can start milking her and make some feta. That would be awesome. If you're not the best shooter, we have a firing range where you can safely go practice your technique and get pointers on how to be a better shot. We really could use some more hunters as deer season is quickly approaching, and getting a deer could easily feed the entire community. So I noted our potato plants looked great. They were huge, green and lush, but the leaves are poisonous, so even though they look healthy, they would kill us if we ate them. But the tubers are edible, as long as they aren't green. And when the plant dies, it means it's time to harvest the potatoes. So we did. And it was a sad haul of tiny potatoes. They think we didn't pile enough dirt on them as they were growing, or there wasn't enough fertilizer in the soil. Either way, we'll try again and hopefully get a better yield next time. Hey, it's been pretty exciting around here lately. Major construction projects are underway. There is scaffolding all over the place, and I can't wait to see what people are building. It's been a while since it felt like we were really invested in the community. It's really cool seeing all the scaffolding going up. The community is starting to build more permanent structures, and it shows that we are really thinking about how to make this place work better. It's nice to see people come together and start projects. I don't know if you've been to the library lately, but someone has started to clean it up. There's a small bookshelf where people can leave and pick up new books. I don't know about you, but I'm getting pretty tired of reading Shakespeare's sonnets. I found a copy a couple of months ago, and it's the only book I've had to entertain myself with. I'm starting to dream in iambic pentameter, and that is not a good thing. We're getting way smarter about our use of vertical space. Someone started building terraced rooftop gardens. It's pretty great. We've increased our farming and living areas while taking advantage of the existing structures. And the best part is we can water the top garden and the excess water will run down to the next level. There are wind turbines being set up around the community. With the storms we've been having, the wind has been intense, and we can harvest that energy to power the settlement. With these new renewable sources of energy, we can finally start using more advanced electronics and lighting systems to make the area safer. If you haven't been outside at night, you've really been missing out on a beautiful sight. The community has new safety lights. It feels warm and inviting coming home at night now. It feels like a safer place, somewhere I'm not afraid to walk around at night. It's been a long time since I've had that sense of security. So, we might have corn soon. I didn't realize that I liked corn so much until I heard that we were trying to grow corn. I had no idea that I missed corn, that corn was a thing that people could miss. It was such a ubiquitous part of our lives, just a normal part of our daily diet. Corn chips, corn tortillas, corn flakes, corn meal, corn on the cob, corn niblets, just a whole lot of corn, even in things you didn't think needed corn. But now I'm really excited about the prospect of eating corn again. Thanks to whoever decided to try and save the tree, there's like a whole structure built around the base of it. It's kind of like a temporary cast, but for a tree, which is not something I thought a tree would need, but it makes sense. It had taken a beating, and now it needed a crutch so it could heal itself and stop struggling just to stay upright. It's already starting to look better. The remnants of the old Sarah camp are finally finding a new home. We're building a clinic. Just moving the equipment inside makes it feel way more permanent. It doesn't feel like a tent city or an emergency refugee center. It feels more like a city, a town, or a village. We're building a real community and providing amenities that will support the community in the future. So I was walking around the settlement today and I saw that someone has started a school. I don't have any kids, but it's really great to see that if I had a kid, there will be a safe space where they could go to learn and interact with other children. It kind of makes me feel hopeful and like someday I might want to have a kid. So if you don't know Ben, he might be your new best friend. It's been tough drinking nothing but water and unsweetened dandelion root coffee, but that's all about to change. Ben's been putting together beehives, and with all the wildflowers around in the abandoned parks, they're making a buttload of honey. You're welcome to visit the hives and collect the honey. As someone who grew up on soda, I'm really looking forward to adding sweetener to my dandelion coffee. While we are still collecting rainwater, we've got a new source of drinking water. That's right, we have a well. The well water is safe to drink and is going to go a long way toward keeping up with our demand for potable water. I don't know if it's the kind of crops we're growing, the weather, or the new well, but the gardens are starting to look really happy and healthy, and it looks like we might even be growing enough food that we need to start thinking about how to preserve it for the future. We aren't just getting by anymore. We might be able to plan ahead. So, I know for some people the sound of the crane can be annoying, but it's also like weirdly comforting to hear heavy machinery being used. We have enough power, enough materials, and a project in need of a crane to complete it. That's pretty awesome. I don't know that we are working any less than we have been, but people don't seem as tired as they used to. Like, the work isn't breaking us, it's starting to energize us. I think maybe it's seeing things we started months ago finally pay off, or maybe using power tools really makes it that much easier to accomplish manual labor. Either way, it's nice to see people smiling and laughing and enjoying themselves. It's great to feel like a part of a community. We've all been sharing the same space and working, but it hasn't really felt like we were working together. We weren't connecting or enjoying the work we've been doing, and that seems to be changing. It's giving me a lot of hope that we can grow not just as individuals, but as a community. That we're just starting to build this new life together. If you haven't checked out the new cafe, you're really only hurting yourself. Kids are playing in the streets and taking refuge from the heat beneath the big tree or under some of the new sunshades that have been built around the community. It feels like people are truly happy here and are starting to live their lives again. It's nice to see people taking a break and enjoying the community. Kids are playing in the streets, people can relax in the shade, we put in the work. We've automated some things, and now we can enjoy the fruits of our labor. I know we aren't nearly as comfortable as we were before the crisis, but this is the most relaxed and calm and peaceful I've seen people in a long time. It feels good to feel like we're finally starting to enjoy life again and not just trying to survive. You know things are getting better when someone finds the time to make chalk so that people can make chalk art. There are all these temporary little art installations. Most of them I think were done by kids, but some of them are really good. So either we have some really talented 12-year-old kids or an adult is getting in on the fun. Either way, it's nice to look down and see someone's art, even if it will be washed away in the next big rainstorm. If you haven't taken advantage of the sunshades, you are missing out. It's a good 10 to 20 degrees cooler in the shade, and the brightly colored fabrics make me feel like I've stepped out of DC and into the streets of a Middle Eastern bazaar. It feels like something out of 1001 Arabian Nights, not a refugee camp in the middle of a heat wave. It's all sort of romantic and makes you think about going on long walks with that girl you've been crushing on. I've never really considered myself an artist. I've always been a science guy, but damn, some of the murals that have been going up are affecting me in ways I did not expect. There is some real beauty and talent in the community. And I don't even know how you all are making the pigments and getting that shit to weather the storms we've been having, but there's some beautiful public art popping up around the settlement. It's just another way to show pride in our community and share the talents we've all had to suppress while just trying to keep warm and dry and fed. So, if there is a better metaphor for what we've gone through than a tree on the brink of dying being propped up by the remnants of the trees that came before it, so that it could once again thrive to provide comfort and safety and security for a weary and tired bunch of people, I don't know what it is. And when I get done here, I'm going to go down with a new book from the library and take a moment to relax and enjoy myself in the safety of that huge tree as it protects me from the beating sun or pounding rain or windy storms. Okay, so I know that when they put the corn in, I was like, oh shit, we are gonna have corn, and that's awesome. I didn't realize someone could miss corn. But people, we have strawberries. We have strawberries. This is not a drill. There are strawberries growing in planters acting as ground cover to help with water retention. Someone planted strawberries as mulch, and we now have strawberries. We can eat them, and it's kind of weird, but I want to milk that goat and have a bowl of strawberries and cream. It won't taste exactly the same, but I bet it will be awesome. Scratch that. Strawberries and honey from Bill's Bees. Okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing later. Alright, so there's this thing called the Three Sisters. It's where you plant corn and beans and squash together. The beans use the corn to grow up the stalk, and the squash plants are sticky and weird and keep predators from coming and eating your corn and beans. And this is some old school farming shit that First Nations taught the Pilgrims. And now, we are using that same knowledge to keep our community alive, and we are thriving. We are starting to thrive and be sustainable, all from this knowledge that has been passed down by the original inhabitants of this land. And we were just lucky enough that they taught us what to do all those centuries ago. Okay, so it looks like shit, but stay with me. We had all these car batteries lying around because there were all these abandoned cars. And we weren't going to get the cars working again, it's just not worth it. So we took those batteries and hooked them up as an energy repository. We are making so much solar and wind power, the system was going to overload, so we need somewhere to store that excess power. And on days when we don't have any wind or have too much cloud cover to meet our energy needs, we can tap into the reserves in the car batteries. We can also use them as a portable short-term generator, so if we need to go on patrol, they can use one of the smaller batteries to charge or power the security lights. That's pretty awesome. So, I don't know where she got the chickens, but I'm not mad at it. We got butt nuggets for breakfast. We got farm-fresh eggs from our free-range chickens. So, when you're walking around, be careful not to step on one of the hens, 'cause she's making our breakfast. What's that saying? Give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, but teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. Well, yeah, but clearly that dude didn't have chickens, because not only do you not need bait to get eggs, your chickens will eat the bugs that have been biting your ass all summer. They are the best. We won't eat them unless they're old or we have too many roosters, but fresh eggs every day is like a farming miracle. Okay, it's getting a little bougie in here. We got a cafe. We got a place that will brew your coffee and feed you snacks and where you can sit and enjoy a hot or cold beverage. This is starting to feel very civilized. I mean, we're still in crisis mode, but it's like normal crisis mode and not, oh shit, it's the apocalypse crisis mode. Like, there are no zombies at the gates eating our brains, just assholes with guns making it unsafe to leave the house. So, America. Attention, we have fully automated washers and dryers. We have a laundromat. We can power the machines with the battery packs if you have to do your laundry at night, but we recommend that you only use the laundromat during the day so as to maximize our use of solar power and save the batteries for unexpected power loss and regular nighttime power needs like the security lights. Thank you for your cooperation, and I look forward to encountering you smelling and looking a little fresher. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to winter now. There are all these beautiful glass jars full of canned and pickled fruits and veggies, and unlike last year when I was living off granola bars and bags of chips I found abandoned at the grocery store and in the vending machines on campus, I'm pretty excited to be eating some pickled cucumbers and green beans in the snow. There's nothing like the taste of summer in the winter, and it's gotta be healthier than potato chips for dinner. Hey, listen up, people. We might be living too good now. The local bands have amps. We can turn up the volume on their instruments and have like legit concerts now. Guess it's a good time to be an indie musician. You've got a captive audience. That was bad. I'm sorry. I shouldn't pun, but it's pretty cool that we can have concerts now. I don't know if you've heard about the new pumps that are watering the gardens, but we've got them up and running. Water is being carried from the well to the gardens, and we no longer have to spend all that time and energy manually pumping out the water to tend to the crops on days we don't get much rain. It's freeing up a lot of time for people to enjoy themselves. We have water filtration tanks. We don't have to boil water to drink it, or pour it through some old charcoal, then strain it through an old shirt, then boil it to be sure it is safe to drink. We can just turn on a tap and drink crystal clear, clean water. I'm actually starting to like drinking water straight and not putting a bunch of sugar and flavor in it to mask that leftover charcoal taste. It just tastes good straight from the tap. So, is it just me, or is the food starting to taste more like food and less like, health food? Like, the eggs are awesome, and putting a fried or boiled egg on top of a bunch of greens suddenly makes it feel more like a meal and less like we mowed the lawn and put it in a bowl. I mean, I still miss hamburgers and fries, but it feels like we are getting closer to having meals that are enjoyable instead of necessary. Okay, shit is getting better when kids are playing in the streets and going to school. Like, for fun. Kids are having fun, and the teachers are having fun, and people are learning, and they are experimenting, they are making art. It's like we are starting to think about the future instead of just trying to make it through the day. They say people are storytellers, that it is through story that we learn empathy. While we report the news and the historical record and facts are important, it's the stories that we tell that show us who we really are. It's the art that we make that shows our humanity. I never really liked stories or fiction or art. I thought that was fluffy stuff for fluffy people, and now I know that I was kind of a dumbass. For as smart as I thought I was, as much as I knew about how things worked, I didn't understand that humans were far more complex systems, and that the exploration through story and art is how many people figure out how the world works. I still have a lot to learn. I know that the True Sons and the Outcasts have talked a lot of shit about Henry. I know that they've been saying that he is a bit of a slave driver, that we were fools to follow him, fools to work so hard and give away all of our time and energy to a man and a community that was unproven, that it was un-American and perverse to create community instead of opportunity. Well, we are striving. Together, we are surviving, and it wasn't a waste of time and energy. I know plenty of you have been wondering about how your friends and family might be doing in other cities. Now, I don't have any cold, hard facts. We can't just pick up the phone and call anymore. Not that anyone remembers numbers without their cell phones. But what I do have is hope. Hope that if we're finding a new way to make it work here, they're finding a way to make it work out there. Houston, Detroit, Pittsburgh, wherever. People are going to find a way to get by. The library is expanding, and there are a bunch of really cool books available to borrow. Maybe I will finally get around to reading some fiction. Maybe some genre fiction. I hear there are some good vampire novel series that are worth taking a stab at. Anything that can get my subconscious to stop dreaming in iambic pentameter. That book of Shakespeare's sonnets really messed up my internal meter. I gotta get something off my chest. I know some of you may know, I've had a little bit of a crush on someone. I don't think she likes me back. And that's fine. It's just that I've always wanted to ask her out, and, well, how do you go on a date when you're in the middle of a crisis? Like, hey, Emma, you want to go with me on a romantic walk around the water collection tarps and maybe go empty the piss buckets onto the compost? But now we have a cafe, and art, and this beautiful street covered with cloth sunshades, and it's romantic, and I just sort of wish that I had someone to share that with. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I saw some people getting it on behind one of the shipping containers covered in murals. Not that there is anything wrong with that. I mean, it was a nice night, the breeze was cool, and if ever there was a time to let yourself fall in love and get swept away by a moment, this is it. But, like, I don't remember the last time I saw condoms or birth control that wasn't rationed for people with endometriosis and other medical needs. So, what I'm saying is, like, good for you getting it, but, like, you might be welcoming a new friend in 40 weeks. Which is cool. Pretty sure a baby would make everything a little more exciting. So, the coolest thing to me is seeing kids grow and learn. There are little kids who are learning to walk, bigger kids learning to run, and big kids doing parkour, which, honestly, might be a useful skill now. It's really fun to watch them play, and I don't know if it's awesome or morbid that they are playing in old Division gear. Clothes and lost watches that are way too big for them. It's awesome to see them playing and pretending, but it's a little weird to watch the cops and robbers games of my youth turn into agents and true sons. It's just a little weird, but this is the world that they are growing up in. I want to let everyone know that Joshua is moving on to bigger and better things at the White House. He's had a rough time, and we haven't always gotten along, but I want to wish him well. If you see him around, maybe you can let him know how much you appreciate everything he's done for us. It is with a heavy heart that we say goodbye to Otis. I know he will do great work with the division, but he will be sorely missed. Over the past few months, Otis has gotten us out of a lot of jams. I hope that he can use his expertise and knowledge of the city to help the agents in his new role at the White House. So Emma is leaving us. She's going to the White House to help them with their weapons cache. I get it. She's great. She knows what she's doing, and she will do great work there. It's just, like, I never got the chance to tell her that Emma, I've had a crush on you for a long time, and, well, I thought that maybe someday we could go on a date, but there's never been a good time because, well, you know. But now you're leaving, and I think I missed my window. I guess if you feel the same, you know where to find me. Okay, yeah, I probably shouldn't have said anything. Welcome, Inaya al-Khaliq, to the show. She's been working hard at the White House. How have you been since you left the community?
Good. I've been able to refocus on work and be of service. It's been hard having too much time to think about what's really going on in the world, so having work to focus on has been a real respite for me.
I would like to welcome Dr. Joshua Summers to the program. I know you didn't originally want to be transferred to the White House. How have things been going for you?
Fine. You're right. I didn't want to leave the community. But I'm the most qualified person for the job. And in times like these, you just sort of have to suck it up and do what's necessary, whether or not it's something you really want to do. You just sort of have to do it. I'm adjusting, but honestly, I wish we had more doctors. It's a little daunting being the one in charge of this shit. I wasn't a virologist. This isn't my specialty. But it's better to have someone like me try to figure this out than a kindergarten teacher.
Welcome, Otis Sykes, to the program. How have you been, Otis?
Great. No, I probably shouldn't say that. But I get to live in the White House. How fucking crazy is that? I've spent my whole life on these streets looking in, wondering what it would be like to look out and be able to make a difference for the people who live here. The real people who the tourists run over and go from building to building, throwing their money around and taking photos to remember their vacation in the nation's capital. I'm probably in the background of a lot of people's memories, sitting on a park bench, out of focus, Just another black man ruining some family portraits in front of white marble columns.
Everyone, we have a very special guest on the program, the incomparable Emma Richards. Her grace and beauty can only be rivaled by her intellect and skill. I don't know if you regularly listen to my show or if you heard the message I sent out to you when we moved out of the village to the White House, but yeah, I'm really glad that you wanted to come on the show.
Thanks. Andre, is it? Sorry, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Thanks for having me on the show. I just wish I knew what you were talking about. It would have been nice to know what you said in that message instead of having to tell you, sorry, I missed it. This is kind of awkward now, isn't it? Do you have a recording of the message? Maybe if we played it now, it would be less awkward.
Oh no, that's okay. It would probably make things a little more awkward, to be honest. Hey, we've got a real treat for all you listeners out there. Our very own Henry Hayes is here on the program. How are you doing, Henry?
I'm getting by. It's been hard since I lost my wife. But I can't really think about that. There's too much work to do. And too many other people who are relying on me to worry about my own problems. We have a community to keep together and support. Every day we get closer to being sustainable. We get closer to having food security and a working power grid. I have to stay focused on the things that we can control and make better. If we keep working, I know it'll pay off and we can relax and next winter won't be as hard.
Hey, we've got our very own Angel of Mercy, Shay Montgomery, with us today. How goes the good fight?
I'm just doing what I'm doing. I understand. People do awful shit to one another when they're scared. Paranoia runs rampant, people turn on each other and become real self-serving. It's one of the ways we survived as a species. But we also survived by being in communities, by supporting one another. I get the self-preservationists who turned me out and left me to die, but I didn't die. And I'm making sure other people don't die, as long as I can do something about it.
Attention all division agents. The quarantine zone in Georgetown is now accessible to agents with proper safety gear. You are welcome to enter the quarantine area and extract any and all supplies. Items taken from quarantine will need to be decontaminated, but if reports are true, there is a large stockpile of abandoned resources in Georgetown. We took back the Lincoln Memorial. The True Sons turned that monument to freedom into an outpost. If you've heard their vision for America, you'd know that's not what Lincoln stood for. I'm glad we could stop this perversion of his legacy. We knew that the bank held valuables, possible assets that could be exploited, gold, jewels, design patents, but there was no way we could have known that it was being used as a prison. We found the president. The government may be in shambles, but finding the rightful head of state is a huge step toward establishing a legitimate form of government again. We did it. The division sent a team to the bunker, and they were able to recover some equipment to restore the national network. We are finally back online. The outcasts have been trying to manufacture and spread the virus around the city. They've been targeting smaller communities in preparation for an assault on the settlements. Agents have shut down their lab, but we don't know how much of the virus has already been produced or how they were planning on infecting the settlements. We need to keep an eye out for anyone messing with our security or water systems. The Outcast Command Center has been taken, and their strategist is in custody. This is a huge win for the division and the settlements. We found survivors on Roosevelt Island. The Outcast's leader is missing. We don't know how many lives have been saved today, but we owe a great deal of gratitude to the division agents who went on what could have been a suicide mission and brought Angela back to us. Ridgway is dead. The head of the True Sons is gone. I don't know what this means for the future, but if he was the glue that was holding them together, their entire structure is about to fall apart. Roosevelt Island has been overrun by Black Tusk. Until further notice, for your safety, avoid the area surrounding the island and common points of entry. Hey, so we aren't allowed to leave the community. Times like these, I can't help but think about what it was like when they first issued the lockdown. It was really tense and scary, and we didn't know what was going to happen. But we made it through that, and we can make it through this. Attention, the community is currently blockaded. I know it sucks, and some of you might be having some flashbacks to when the quarantine was issued and the lockdown, and this might be bringing up some messed up feelings or anxiety. Just remember that we've been through stuff like this before, and we were okay. We will be okay again. Maybe go work in the gardens, or take a nap, or read a book, or listen to music, or something to take your mind off the fact that we're trapped. I shouldn't have said trapped. It's temporary. We'll be okay. Hey, it's not safe for the kids out there, so we should all stay put and try to take their minds off of what's going on. I mean, we can still sort of hear what is happening. Maybe we can just tell them to pretend that the bangs aren't really gunshots. We could tell them it's just firecrackers and people are really excited and getting ready for the 4th, and it's just like any other year where families and neighbors set off fireworks in the street. Yeah, we could try that. Attention, sorry kids, we're not allowed to leave the community today. I know it sucks, but if the agents are telling us it's not safe, it's probably for the best that we listen to them. I mean, they have way better comms than we do, and they've got people all over the city, so they know when things are messed up and we should shelter in place. So that's what we should be doing, sheltering in place. Hey, I know being stuck inside sucks, but at least we have an inside to be stuck in. I know there are still people in the city who are just trying to find places to hide, moving from place to place, staying one step ahead of danger, and trying to make the best of it because they weren't lucky enough to find a community. And now they're too scared to join one. Change is hard, no matter how scary things are out there. It's really hard to trust strangers when people keep disappointing you. Hey, so we can't leave the settlement. Might be a good idea to spend the day working on preserving our extra food. Winter will be here before we know it, and we don't know when we'll be able to leave or we'll start getting supplies delivered again. We can't really depend on the government getting its shit together, like we hope they will, but we have to be prepared for the likely possibility that we're on our own and we need to take care of ourselves. Better we're over-prepared than left with our asses out. Attention, we're not allowed to leave the community. It's okay, we will get through this. It's not like the castle. We just have to be careful. Check our defenses and make sure to follow the recommendations from the agents. They know firsthand what we're up against, and frankly, I'd rather not have to fight people that intimidate an agent. So if they're telling us to shelter in place, I will happily listen to them and keep my ass in this chair. I know, it sucks. We'd all rather be outside picking berries or hunting for some tasty meat for dinner, but we can't right now. We have to stay inside for our own safety, and it sucks. It's boring. But sometimes life is boring. Sometimes life sucks harder than other times, and sometimes you have to be the one to tell people that today life sucks. But tomorrow, hopefully, will be a better day. And maybe the berries will be sweeter, and we can enjoy a day in the sun. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get a little cabin fever. I've never been a big outdoorsy person, but when you know you can't leave, it sort of makes you want to leave. It's like that game where you point at someone and say, "I'm not touching you," and even though they aren't touching you, it feels like they are, and then it makes your whole skin itch, and you just want to run as far away from your little brother as possible because they're annoying the crap out of you. But you can't because you're in the back of a car, and so you just have to sit there and try not to get in trouble. I've been thinking about these blockades. I can't help but wonder what they're doing out there that they don't want us to see. It feels a little like someone is trying to distract us from what's really happening, and then by the time we figure out what they're hiding, it's too late to do something about it. That might sound a little paranoid, but things have been changing so fast. The way we live now is so different from a year ago. We're adapting, but there is definitely a learning curve, and it's really hard to know what's still acceptable and what can get you killed. We have an urgent community announcement. The settlement is blockaded. For the time being, all non-essential personnel should shelter in place. This is the safest place in the city. Just be patient and we will be fine. For now, all non-essential personnel should shelter in place. Don't take any chances. We can't afford to lose any more people. We just have to be patient. We don't want to end up like the castle settlement. I don't know what to say. It's really hard being trapped in the settlement. It's not that I want to go exploring or be out in the streets, being hunted by outcasts or the True Sons, but whenever we're told we can't leave, it just makes me want to leave. But I know that if I did that, I might make it a day or a week, but I wouldn't be living. I would just be running. And I'm tired of running. Attention, we are currently on lockdown. All non-essential personnel are to remain indoors. It's not safe out there. we need to think about keeping the most vulnerable members of our community safe and calm. There's no reason to freak out, try to run away, or leave the settlement. It's not worth it. It will be over soon. We just have to be patient. We're currently blockaded. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. We have to make the most of it. Maybe we can work on figuring out how to build new water filters or rainwater reservoirs so that we don't have to worry about floodwaters contaminated with DC-62 getting into the groundwater. Great. Now I'm worried about our water supply instead of the blockade at the door. I guess at least that's something we can be proactive about. Listen up. Black Tusk is gone. It's safe to leave the settlement. We don't know if they're coming back, so be sure to bring enough food, water, and munitions with you just in case. Good news. Black Tusk have left the settlement. Not sure if they're coming back, but for now, we're allowed to freely move in and out of the community. Attention, the Black Tusk blockade has been lifted. We're free to leave the settlement. Remember, be careful out there. Don't forget to bring water, food, and firepower. The Division showed the Black Tusk what they're capable of today. We're lucky to have the agents on our side. Without them, I know we wouldn't stand a chance against this new threat. Attention! The Division took out a Black Tusk stronghold. They were able to recover some of their tech. If we can reverse engineer their technology, we will have a better chance of defending ourselves against them. We just got word that the Division took out a Black Tusk stronghold and Emma got some new gear to play with. I wish she'd let me come play with her. I mean, like, as an engineer, it will be cool to experiment with her new toys. We're just friends. But yeah, she should have some new weapons upgrades soon. We just took out the last Black Tusk stronghold. They're moving out of the city. Inaya is going over some blueprints they recovered. She should be able to craft some impressive gear with these blueprints. Anything to keep our agents a little safer is good for the community. The Black Tusk are on the run after a brutal showdown at Tidal Basin. Remaining BTs have scattered throughout the city. Do not approach or try to fight BTs if you see them. Get to a safe house and alert a Division agent to the threat. Give the agent a thorough description of the Black Tusk and where you last saw them. Do not put yourself in unnecessary danger. The community will support you. Attention, it's brutal out there today. Remember to stay hydrated. This heat is no joke. It's another oppressively hot day. Take it easy. Don't work too hard in this heat. Be careful walking outside in this heat today. It's really easy to get dehydrated on days like this. Drink lots of water and try to stay cool. If you're affected by seasonal allergies, you might want to stay inside and barricade the windows and doors. There is a lot of pollen out there, and we don't have antihistamines to treat mild allergic reactions. If you've been hoarding allergy meds, now is the time to use them. We've got a lot of pollen floating around out there today, and if you suffer from seasonal allergies, today is going to suck. If you're allergic to pollen, today is not a good day for you to be outside. If you've got a gas mask with a good filter, you might want to just wear it all day. We're low on allergy meds, and prevention is always better than treatment. I love it here, but this humidity is out of control. It might not be that hot, but the humidity just makes it feel so much worse. If your neighbor is a little smellier today, it might be due to high humidity. Watch out for skin diseases due to high heat and humidity. This is the perfect breeding ground for mold and bacteria. Do what you can to stay dry. If you were thinking about doing laundry today, you might want to change your plans. It's really humid, and trying to get those wet clothes dry is going to be a challenge. No point in doing all your laundry just to end up with moldy clothes. I love the rain. It always makes the world look more alive and clean. It's raining. Do what you can to stay dry. Damp clothes can be a breeding ground for bacteria. If you were thinking about doing laundry today, you might want to change your plans. It's raining. No point in trying to wash your clothes when they're just going to get soaked again. Major thunderstorms and flooding today. Be careful out there. If you don't know how to swim, get to high ground and shelter in place until the waters recede. Attention, we are having some intense rain. There is a threat of flooding and lightning strikes from the thunderstorms. We are having major thunderstorms. It's best to wait out the storm if you can and stay on higher ground. The chance of flooding is increased in lower-lying areas. In the south, there is an increased potential of encountering contaminated waters from the quarantine area. And now, time for a little music. I think we all deserve a break from the news. Here's a little music. And now, how about some music? Here's some new music from the community. You know what time it is? Time for me to shut up and play you some music from the community. And now for something completely different, here's some music. That's right, you know what time it is. Time for a music break. I think we could all use a little break. Here's some music. And now, how about a little music? Now for my favorite part of the show, here's some new music from the community. I don't know about you, but I could use a break from the news. Here's a little music. And here's some new music from the community. We'll be back to the news in a minute, but for now, let's listen to some music. Let's listen to some music. Now for my favorite part of the show, I stop talking and you get to listen to music. Welcome back to Circle Radio with Andre. Hope you enjoyed the music. Wasn't that song great? Welcome back to Circle Radio with Andre. Welcome back. I'm your host Andre and you're listening to Circle Radio. Hope you enjoyed that last song. You're listening to Circle Radio with Andre. Welcome back to Circle Radio with Andre. Hope that last song lifted your spirits. Hope that song made your day a little easier. Now back to Circle Radio. I'm your host Andre. Welcome back. I'm Andre and you're listening to Circle Radio. You're listening to Circle Radio. I'm your host Andre. I really hope you liked that last song. You're listening to Circle Radio with Andre. And we're back. Hope you enjoyed that song. I'm your host, Andre, and you're listening to Circle Radio. You're listening to Circle Radio with Andre. Enough music. Let's get back to the news. Hope you enjoyed the new music from the community. Let's get back to the news. This is Andre, and you're listening to Circle Radio. That was new music from the community. Now, back to the news. I'm Andre, and you're listening to Circle Radio. After that short musical break, let's get back to the news. This is Circle Radio with Andre. That last one goes out to my secret admirer. I mean, the girl I secretly admire. Never mind. You're listening to Circle Radio with Andre. Thanks for listening to Circle Radio with Andre. Thanks for tuning in to Circle Radio with Andre. I'm Andre, and thanks for listening to Circle Radio. This has been Circle Radio with your host, Andre. I'm Andre, and you've been listening to Circle Radio. This has been Circle Radio with Andre. Thanks for listening. I'm Andre, and thanks for tuning in to Circle Radio. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Andre, and this has been Circle Radio. I'm your host, Andre, and thanks for listening to Circle Radio. As always, thanks for listening to Circle Radio. I'm your host, Andre.